Good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. Today is Tuesday, March 17th. I have officially rolled over to June's contract here. So a few things to note. Just make sure that your trade copiers are all in sync. If you're on Bookmap, make sure that you subscribe to the new futures contract for June. And then obviously make sure that all of your platforms have been switched over. Open interest switched early this morning here, so it's still a decent split between March and June, but June's contract open interest overtook on both instruments this morning. So this is kind of a trickier time to trade. You know, I made a joke with my wife a couple of months ago that, you know, we should probably plan our trips around contract rollover because what you're fighting is, for instance, right now we're entering into volume from March, okay? This is a good portion of what you see on this secondary overlap volume profile is just a two-day profile here. The larger one is a 90-day. So what you're seeing right now develop on the lower profile is more of June's contract still blended in with March. But now we're currently entering into March's volume footprint, I guess you can say. And the tricky part is that the levels, if you look at the levels that you map out for key areas, when you switch over to the new contract, those levels are not going to be in the exact same spots. And I consider myself to be a kind of a sniper entry on a sniper targeting unbalanced pieces of volume. And that becomes a little bit more trickier when that volume shift has occurred. So we kind of need to see new price action develop. We need price action to visit new areas, to develop its own footprint with June's contract, and then hopefully start to kind of blend in with March's. And then after about a week, sometimes a week and a half, you'll start to see that, you know, the 2-day is not going to be as important as, you know, the 45-day or 90-day. Now, I will say something here a little unique on the market this morning. So with my signal members here, we were mapping out, you know, where I see the strength from the volume footprint, where I see selling strength, and then where I see buying strength down here in green. And you'll notice that this was a pretty nice push to the upside here, represented maybe a little better on the candlesticks. Good push up here. But you could see that the push occurred where sellers were still dominant. And the buying pressure here yet this morning has really not flipped anything here yet. I'm going to take a look at what's occurred right here at the open. But that is a little interesting. So that kind of tells me that maybe the buyers this morning are not as strong as one might assume just by looking at the regular candlestick chart. Obviously, that can always change. And again, we are dealing with some new volume here, so we kind of keep everything into perspective. But I thought that was kind of a little interesting part of the morning here. And pretty much the same thing on the ES. So the ES looks pretty similar here. Did break through our reaction band here this morning. But if you can see, a lot of this move up is in a very strong seller-dominated area. And even throughout this entire push, we didn't really see anything here that would flip this from red to green. So again, all those little clues are giving me some feelers as to maybe the buying pressure here yet is not very strong. Now, it's not going to take a lot to switch this from red to green, because as you can see, this is where green kind of finished off around the 67.41s right over here. So if we get any flip over here, you know, this will pretty quickly go into a green zone for buying. But we need to see that first, and we haven't seen that just yet. Another thing that you'll see me do here throughout the morning is you'll see me mapping out a bunch of unbalanced volume areas in the market that I see, and then kind of see how market kind of starts reacting to them here in the opening part of the market. And that'll be a good indication too of how well volume is starting to kind of get respected here or not. I mean, in pure honesty, I would love actually for this to flip green, or to flip a lot of this green, because there is a lot of pieces of unbalanced volume sitting here that I'd obviously like to take a look at. But as of right now, they've not really given me any indication of, you know, a lot of strength here by buyers just yet. And also another thing too, volume is a little thin on order books. So you gotta remember that since volume is kind of split in between two contracts right now, your order book on Bookmap is gonna look a little thin on the new contract and even on the old contract. So this can also indicate easier price moves to the up or down because of volume being so thin. That's another indication. What I'm looking for is who's really showing the strength and where. And as of right now, I still have this big area here on the NQ from the 980s, from the 24 980s down to like the 24 820s. So it's about a 120 point range here where sellers are still dominant. And even though we're still pushing here, nothing's really switched my my area here. So again, a good day of patience in the market. I think we'll go a long way. Happy St. Patrick's Day for everybody. Also a programming note, tomorrow will be our Cash Profit Wednesday. So that will be tomorrow. 5% of my session profits will be given away to a lucky viewer. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Next Monday and next Wednesday, I'll be giving away some Lucid eval accounts. So I'll have some giveaways on those. Another programming note: there will be no live stream this. I take that back. Forget what I just said. So we're kind of just here taking a look and see, you know, if sellers finally get exhausted here. I'm sorry, if buyers finally get exhausted here. We'll see. Now we're starting to see some negative delta, which just quickly switched to positive. Again, order book looks pretty thin. Finished off the session yesterday extremely well. Ended up taking a really nice short with my signal members in the post session. Took a short on a pretty large unbalanced volume area, and caught a short on the 120 range footprint chart, the one you're looking at right here. And in total took home about 63 points on that trade, as my initial target was at 30 points. We did get a flip after a sweep, and before the beautiful thing is that I kind of laid out my entire plan from the get-go. And I said if we do get a flip here, which would be a red footprint with positive delta, that I would add another position. And we did get that. I added another position to that, and closed out both of those trades for some really nice profits. So ended off the session yesterday up 3,500. So that kind of helped out the month for sure. I think we're currently sitting at about $45 or $4,700 for the month. Okay, so it looks like we might get a flip here. A lot of negative delta. So again, I think these days are definitely some days of patience. I had to reset about 5 of my signals that I had in our signal service, because if you just take a look at where the origins of those signals were at, nothing was matching up to June's contract. So even though those areas are still unbalanced, the actual sniper entry that I'm looking for was not. All right, let's take a look and see. All right, so now that they've busted through there, now we can paint this all green, which is great. Take this green guy right to here, which is where my 120 footprint shows Green footprint, negative delta, still showing strength. It's great. So this is now what the day kind of looks like. All this is kind of green. So what I'll look for now is I'll see if there's any pockets of unbalanced volume sitting in here, and then we'll kind of see how things react. Because above us, we really don't have much. This was the high from yesterday, I believe. Yeah, it was right here. High of that session right there. So let's see what we can find. All right, so the first area that I see sitting right here. All right, so this is our first zone here that I see that buyers have left unbalanced. This is the first topside area, which sits at the 25064, which would be an entry, and the 25054, which would be a stop loss area. This would be invalidated at this point. You know, unless we get it within the same footprint, a sweep of this that also closes above, I'm still good with that. And then we've got our TP at the 25074 and a quarter. And then let's continue to see. Yeah, looks like the best. Looks like the best spot as of right now. Let's see if we can flip over the ES. Nothing here yet. Nothing. Okay, yeah. So we could take this off. And then we can move him all into solid green area as of right here. Perfect. And then now we can take a look and see what the ES might have left. Yes, really the it's kind of opening push here on the market open. To me seems like the only area, so it's kind of sitting back in this reaction band. Maybe just a little bit above it. Not as clean as this NQ setup right here. So again, if we take a look at the footprint chart here, you're starting to see still positive delta here. We did see a pretty good increase right here. If we do get a red footprint here, especially if it's a flip, that's typically a really good indication of a pretty big reversal from that point. So you got to kind of be a little cautious with that. We don't want to be scalping into strength here from sellers. And this is a very classic pattern here, where you start to see a lot of increasing delta, big final push, and then sellers absorbing. That's typically a good indication that we're going to see a pretty good reversal downwards. Now again, am I going to short that? No, not necessarily, because I don't really have anything up here. I'm not in a unbalanced volume area. I actually might be, but I'm not looking at that right now. I want to see price action develop a little bit more for me to to start having faith in the bigger unbalanced volume areas. And then these will tell. So we didn't get a flip here, so this wouldn't flip anything from red to green. So we'll kind of see here how price action. Let me just jump into the 1 minute here. That's what that looks like right here. This is about 10 points here. We're at about 852. All right, let's test out. Let's test out this area right here. Why didn't it? Where did my order go? Okay. I don't know why it's not showing me my preview. Oh, there it is. All right, so still actively monitoring the 120 footprint range just to make sure that, you know, I don't get kind of trapped here or anything like that. Morning, Grant. Arshak, good morning. The Resolute Trader, good morning. Grant, good morning. AP, good morning. Carrie, Nordic, Joe, Karen, Patel, Rob, Michael, William, Keith, Joe, Joel, John. Good morning, all. Mm-hmm. Oh, Michael, that's a good one. So again, the only thing here that would start to change my bias on the top side here would be a flip from sellers, where I would see like a red footprint candle with positive delta in this area right here. That's something that I kind of want to avoid scalping into. So I do have that chart up on my left. It's a pretty predominant chart for me. So I've got that on there. So I'll obviously take a look at that and then let you guys know if this for some reason doesn't look good to me. Another reason to invalidate this signal, of course, would be, you know, we come right down, we miss our entry here by a point to 3 points, and we make the move back to the upside. We don't want to take this trade back in again. What I see in the market has kind of already played out, so it could always work, but it's the probability of that trade working at that point is not the greatest. And I don't mind impulsive moves like that. I don't actually mind those at all. I actually, the cleaner the move into my entry, to be honest with you, the better. I don't like the, when price action's just kind of hanging out right above TPs, because all it's doing is just balancing out volume, sitting right here. So we're just looking for small 10-point scalp here on this trade. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. No high impact news here this morning. Only thing is we got the continuation of the NVIDIA AI conference. And if you guys prefer, I can switch this to, this is the 30 range right here, footprint. So you can see this is my TP1 right here in the gold line. And then once we get a little closer to entry, you'll see where the entry price is there. So for those of you that, are looking at the footprint for confirmations as well, you'll kind of see that on the split screen there. I will say the ES has got a nasty pocket of volume sitting at the 15s to the 10s. So right here, we've got a very, very strong wall that's been formed. Let's expand that here just a little bit. So that's going to be extremely interesting right there. They're going to probably want to tap into that here at some point, maybe pretty early actually. So for those of you still, possibly looking at longs, you've got a big resistance area right here. The NQ is a little bit more simple. They're just sitting right here. And where they'd want to break through is going to be at the 25.080s. So that's where they're sitting like right here. I should save this. Thought maybe I did, but I didn't. Oh, maybe I did. All right. So these are just two areas on the NQ that you're curious to see. You're going to see obviously some reaction there, some absorption here. But the bigger one is the NQ, is the ES. And now looking at it, that volume starts to kind of match up with the 25 140s on the NQ. So that's going to be sitting right here. right here. That is a pretty big area. So let's see, that's about 12 points, about 12 to 15 points on the ES. So this is actually matching up with this. So let's see if we get an entry here or not. All right, so we're in there. Let's move that off to the side a little bit. See if we get a quick 10 points here or not. Got the 880s right here, so they should want to just kind of rebalance this green area sitting right above my TP. Ooh, nasty wick right there. So that could be the move right there. We'll see. I probably got some slippage on that now too. Look where my order closed out at. So got about 2 points of slippage there. But that could have been the sweep right there that I also kind of was thinking about, but kind of have to manage risk here a little bit as well. Oh, I'm still in a trade. Interesting. No, I don't think I am. Oh. So my orders did not get filled here. My leader got filled, but my all my followers did not. Control center. Connections, accounts. Yeah, so my leader is down $233, which that's just an eval. I don't give a shit about that. Cash is up 56. Tradeifys are up 54. Lucid funded 57. All Apex up 56. So finally I get one in my favor. I finally got one in my favor there. Did not get filled there on the, which I don't understand why I wouldn't have. That swept pretty drastically underneath it. But that was the one. That was the one. I even mentioned it. You know, this could sweep here. Which, if we take a look at the footprint here, it's exactly what I said. So here's where you get your footprint confirmation. Just a sweep of this unbalanced volume area, and then we attack this area right here that was left unbalanced. So, for those of you that lost, I apologize, but I can't control the fills. All right, so we're gonna keep these. I wish they would extend. Let's do it over here. That's the one thing I don't like about these rectangles. My y-axis is much better, but this keeps it a little cleaner. All right, so let's just take a look from a top-down approach here. And let's see what, if anything, has changed here. Did anybody else have any fill issues on that one? Did it wick down like that on the micros? I'm not sure. I'm on the NQ chart. So I trade my leader account on the NQ, and then through Replicanto, it cross trades to all of the micros. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, so if anything, buying strength has still gotten a little bit stronger right here. We'll see if that changes. Let's take a look at the ES. A lot of volume sitting right here at the tops. This looks like a pretty classic reversal pattern to me right here, but again, a lot of volume sitting right above here. Actually, not so much anymore. This is kind of gone. This is gone. This big area here. I mean, it's still right here, but it's much less volume right now. Okay, that's kind of interesting. This to me is a very classic now reversal pattern here for the market. So we'll see. You know, the NQ kind of gave a conflicting signal right here, but this all looks very reversal pattern to me. You get increasing delta, very strong, and then you finally get this big kind of exhaustion candle with some negative delta. Wasn't a flip. If this was a flip, it would be even stronger, but to me this looks pretty indication of a possible reversal down. So what I'll do is I'll obviously keep a look at all of these areas right here. I'll look at these current footprints that are coming down, see if anything here changes into red. That would give us any indication of you know, possible reversal there. And Herman says that for MI is it's a big bullish flag pattern, and I could buy into some of that just based off of this footprint right here. That to me also looks pretty strong right here, but again, this to me looks more like a reversal pattern down to the downside, but we'll see. Like I said, we got a good mix of volume here. You know, this is kind of expected. So this move, if I switch over to the 5-minute, maybe it'll show it a little bit cleaner. So this move right here from the market open, even pre-market, this was all done on very little volume. Volume was very light. As far as June contracts volume, it's very light. So we're seeing a mix still here of March and June. I think I said June contract, right? So this was, and this was all painted red to me before, until we started getting flips up here, showing some strength from buyers. So it's been a little bit of a mixed bag here, and you know, typically, you know, when you get these contract rollovers, you're going to start to experience some volume shifts and some blends of the two contracts coming in together. So it's you know, you could start to see some big swings on some little volume, littler than what you normally would see, but you also got to take into account that there's still some volume sitting on that March contract, which is currently sitting at, let's see. So yeah, June is not quite double yet, but it's about 1.5 times the size of March. So for instance, we got about 950,000 open interest on the ES March, and then we've got almost 1.4 million on June. So still a very good split. Not 50-50 exactly, but pretty damn close to it. Just taking a look on this candle here to see if that maybe we get some negative delta here for a quick flip here. Could have been a nice little 15-point scalp, but still not showing me that confirmation there. So I'd like to take this. This is pretty much our high of day yesterday. So just a kind of nice little retracement in here without this, nothing here really flipping red here yet. So I would have considered here a long. But would like to see if we can possibly trap some sellers on this way down. All right, then let's take a look and see what else. So the next piece of unbalanced volume is going to be sitting right here, but that is the market open, so I don't put a lot of weight into that. It's not an area that I like to scalp from. Well, we're just entering into it right now, so we'll see what happens there. And then we've got another area sitting right here that looks much better to me. All right, so we did get a reaction right there. Let's go to the 1 minute here. Let's just see how these things are reacting here. All right, so decent reaction there off of that area that I spotted. ES is kind of sitting at this wall here. That ES looks kind of interesting here as well. ES is actually sitting in a different size wall here. So ES is sitting at yesterday's prior high, and this looks like this right there. So let's see what the footprints are showing here. Okay, might have to be on the 30 here. Let's see. Okay, big absorption there by sellers right there. Finally broke through this big piece. Now we'll see if they come back and defend here or not. But if we take a look, you know, pretty big sell-off. So again, a lot of this move to the upside to me just did not look very strong. It was on very thin volume. Now we're starting to see actually a lot more volume coming into the market. But that was a pretty these footprints up here was, to me, was a clear reversal pattern. Now it could be a retracement and then continue up, but nothing here yet has showed me that, you know, buyers were in complete control yet. It looked a little weak to me. But this up here, where you start to see increasing volume, delta flip to the upside, big last attempt here, and then a nice little reversal. So we'll see. Let's fix up the NQ here a little bit. And we can get rid of this guy. And then I've got this area down here marked off right now for buyers. So along at the 24,947, targeting the 24,959 with a stop at the 24,936. That's what I currently see. And then we'll take a look and see if they left anything right there, which they did. I'd like to see them break a little bit more structure, but we'll see here. Okay, so that's what this one looks like here. Again, nice little move here from buyers. They left a little bit of unbalanced volume here, sitting at the 25,009, targeting the 25,023 with a stop at the 24,995. And then we'll see here. And then we'll also take a look in this area here on the NQ. So right here, sitting at the 25,094 to the 85s. Not scalping this right here. So I'm going to leave this in gray for right now. But just kind of want to see here if the buyers can overtake this or not. This would be the first area of unbalanced volume for sellers. And they do have a pretty decent amount of liquidity sitting right above it. So we'll see if they come in and attack that or not. But as of right now, just be looking at the 25,009s. Make a slight adjustment to TP right there. And again, the only thing I'm doing right now on my other screen is just kind of monitoring the bigger footprint here, just to make sure that we don't get a flip here for sellers, where, you know, I don't want to be going into strength, even though I think we got enough room here still to take a decent trade here. And this area right here is, to me, that's why it's laggy, so it's kind of, I don't like that. This area here, I don't have it mapped out for a scalp. We're probably going to see a reaction here for sure, but I want to see if the buyers can actually overtake this or not, or if this is where the sellers end up defending. I'm going to go refill my coffee. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. A nice little fresh hot cup of coffee. Decaf. I know, don't make fun of me for my decaf coffee. Let's see what's been going on here. That is a bit conflicting here now. All right. So now we can put sellers down to right here on the ES. Okay. So we're kind of in this little tight area here. And this volume is still sitting here. So that's a big position. Let me know in the comments if you like this new format a little better, where, you know, entries and TPs are clearly laid out for scalps. And then obviously, I typically would look for larger areas of unbalanced volume. But currently, I am going to wait a few days on that just to... I think it's easier to catch these smaller moves within the contracts, between the hybrids of both contracts right now. So if you guys like that, just put in the comments, yes, I like the format, or go back. I also tried to clean up the charts here a little bit. I wasn't really too happy with... I'm a very clean chart type of person, and yesterday just really hit me that the charts were getting a little crazy. So I made the green for areas for the green and red areas a little bit less transparent, and just so they weren't so strong. I do have an indicator for rectangles that will automatically stretch this. It was from, I'll never forget about them, because on accident I purchased 3 of the exact same indicators. I thought it wasn't going through, and it did. They were pretty nice. I think they credited me like 1 out of the 3, so I was able to use one on my desktop upstairs, and then, what's it called? Ascendo. Anybody heard of that indicator company, Ascendo Trading? We've got a pretty good rectangle tool. Here's another thing. I mean, I spent about an hour yesterday with Grok. I don't like to bother Michael anymore because I know he's got some crazy work schedules. But this is what I was wanting, and neither Grok or ChatGPT was able to accomplish this. But what I was looking for is what tool I use here is the Y axis, or the Y region highlighter tool on NinjaTrader. I love it because you can make it into a global indicator, so it'll pop up on all of your NQ charts. You can set templates here for, you know, what you want it to look like. Like, this is my scalping zones. I've got one for reaction zones. And so when I map it off on my lower time frames on the left, I'll do all my mapping, and then it shows up nicely right here on my main display. What I would like for me to avoid having to put in extra lines on the chart, like for these labels, because otherwise, you know, I can have this highlighted here, but you would have no clue as to where that is in the on the market. It's not like TradingView, which gives you nice labels. So this tool right here does not have the ability to put any type of labels or any type of text. So I told Grok, I'm like, listen, build me an indicator, a drawing tool indicator that can add labels to these regions and have the ability to put text here in the middle. So like when I open it, If I click on it here, there would be an area that says text, and I could just type in the text there, and people would understand what this is, okay? And people would understand that this is a scalping zone. Even for myself, I just think it would be very beneficial. And that part of it is not very difficult, but it won't apply it to the global setting, which means that if I do this on a different chart, it won't show up here. It's just going to show up as this highlighting this gray area here. It won't show with the labels or the text. For some reason, I tried for like 2 hours. I literally cut and copied the errors that I was getting in the Ninja script editor back and forth with Grok, and it just couldn't figure it out. And then I started doing my own digging, and it does seem like the global tools don't like added features or added indicators to it. So I think I'm kind of at a loss here for it. And then the rectangle tool, like I said, Ascendo makes a really nice tool. If you guys are like trading like the 1 minute, the 60 minute, the 30 minute, and you need like areas of support resistance and you want to attach it to whatever you're looking at, if you're a fair value gap trader, if you're, highs, lows, whatever, it has a really awesome feature there that will do multi-time frame. And it'll expand these rectangles, which I can't do in NinjaTrader. So like I literally have to drag this over, which is I think a pain in the sack. I probably shouldn't say pain in the sack, but that's how I normally would talk. So you get what I get. So it's not the cleanest thing here. The best is this, but then again, it's also like it's very predominant on the chart, where this I can make it not so crazy. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud. Waiting for a trade. So again, this gray area right here is corresponding to really a good unbalanced seller area right here. Nice impulsive move from here. This is where I would normally see a reaction. I can't scalp it here yet because buyers are still strong, but I just want to see if we get the strong reaction to the downside, which looks like we are getting right here. Or if the buyers overtake this, which I think will show us a lot because they might be going right into this. But you could see, I mean, that would have already been 12 points right there on that reactionary zone. Can you see the indicator script? Yeah, so Grok actually creates the script for me, and I'm just copying the script that he gives and then plugging it into the NinjaTrader editor and then compiling it, seeing if there's any errors. And I've actually been getting pretty decent at it. I mean, I've been getting pretty good, some indicators that I've been kind of messing around with. Like on these delta flips, I created an indicator that would show me that. But again, it just kind of gets your chart kind of busy. It's a nice reaction there. You guys are probably all saying, Rob, why don't you just take the scalp from there? Well, I like to see kind of hard scalping into strength there, so we'll see. Perplexity sounds kind of complex. I actually never heard of Perplexity. I might sound like an idiot for not knowing what that is, but let's see. Perplexity is a free AI agent that provides accurate, trusted, and real-time answers to any question. Why is Perplexity better than ChatGPT? Real-time information access. Perplexity offers access to current information by default, including recent news, market data, and newly published research. Okay, that's kind of cool. Because I do know that like Grok's, I think, 30 days out on their data. I don't know what ChatGPT is, but it's on par better. Oh, cool. I'll check them out. Well, hot damn, we just realized that we missed the IB trade here. I think I was getting coffee at that time. Dang it. Anybody look at the IB play here today? Let's see what would have happened there. This would have been your high. Let's take a look at the footprint. That was the high right there. All right, let's see the first tap into it. You don't get a footprint there. You get a nice footprint right there. Ah, sons of damn coffee. Cost us a nice 15-point trade right there. That was a beauty. That was a beauty setup. Okay. Good to know, good to know, good to know. Let's take a look at the ES. Looks like the ES is coming back into... So the 85s is really where they're at. Right here. And they're kind of landlocked because they've got... They've got 800s right here. Guys, if you haven't, I'd appreciate a like on the stream. I get between 200 and 300 views on these live streams and averaging about 20 likes, so it's less than 10% of the people viewing. Apex's 85% off sale lasts until Friday. It's 2.5 more days. 3 more days, I should say. Something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. And I should probably know this. Let me just, well, it's not, because I'm still on all of the legacy. All my 20 PAs are on the legacy account. So I replayed that video. I was actually contemplating posting the video from my trade yesterday, post session with my signal members, where I took that 63 point short with 2 positions. So, and each of them were about 30 to 33 points of profit. And what was I saying? Oh, so I had a clear plan on the trade. The trade ended up lasting about 30 minutes, which is the reason why I kind of just didn't post it. I think I should, because there's a lot of really good information that I gave in there. I pretty much played everything out exactly what I was thinking. All right, so we got another. Yeah. All right, let's see if they go and fetch this big liquidity pool sitting up here. 25 100s. Did I get the IB wrong? Oh yeah, shit. You're right. Thanks, bud. You know what? Let's go OG style. Let's take away the complications. Forgot what I was talking about now. Oh, I was taking a look at that trade from yesterday. I was going to post it. I just thought it was super long. I'm not sure how many people would actually watch it. But I gave some really good nuggets in there on some really nice, I think some really nice trading in my opinion. But I had a clear plan on a footprint. Let's see, I can kind of give you guys an example here. Not the best example, but just bear with me. So we had a clear move into an unbalanced, big unbalanced volume area, and got a red footprint candle there. Took a short, okay? So I went short here. Already had my predefined TPs, TP1 and TP2 area. Well, first area was at 30 points. The second area, I think, was at like 45, 50 points down. And the next footprint candle opened up, just went a few points down, and then was starting to inch back up. But before that, I had already stated that typically I'll have my stop put at the top of the footprint candle. And I said to everybody, you know what, I'm going to move it about 5 to 6 points above here. Because of the fact that we were in like this scenario where if this red box here was right here, we were just in a very, very large liquidity zone. And I said, okay, what could happen here is we just sweep the top of this, we clean out the rest of the liquidity sitting down here, And if I then get a red footprint candle with a delta flip, I want to add another position. That's exactly what ended up happening. We came up maybe 3 points above this footprint. Again, this is just an example. This is not the trade from yesterday, but came up about 3 points, came right back down, got a great flip. I, at that time, was, I mean, I've been in the trade already a good amount of time, and I was not in front of the charts. But as I sat down, this already had closed as a red footprint candle with a flip. But price action was sitting like right here at the bottom 3/4 of the previous my entry candle. So I ended up taking a short from there. But then after, towards the end of the night, I started to think, I'm like, well, shit, that's kind of like DCAing. And I know Apex has a rule against that. Now, granted, it was only about maybe a four point DCA, meaning that my entry was here. I took another position, maybe about 4 points in the negative. But I knew I had my plan. It's not like I was DCAing to prey on the trade working out. I already knew that we had swept the liquidity. This turned into a flip that I knew I was going to be in a really good position. I kept saying, because the IB was sitting above here, and I said it to the members many times, I'm like, there's no way that they go for that IB. They've done enough here. They're going to want to finish off their auctions down here. So I was a little worried about that. But the nice thing is, and I know they're not looking at recordings and stuff like that anymore, but I figured since these are legacy accounts, I don't know, maybe the legacy rules still kind of apply. I did look at my dashboard late last night. The trade was in there. The profit was in there, which was like $360 across all the PAs. And I didn't see any rule violations. I actually don't have any rule violations in any of the 20 PAs that I've had trading for the last 3 months. Not one, not an MAE, no, nothing. There's nothing there. They're all clean. So I was hoping that wouldn't have been my first mark against my record, but I figured, I'm like, maybe they got a buffer. You know, if they're looking at you being 20 points in the negative or 30 points in the negative, then, you know, I could consider that being maybe a little sus, but and the one benefit of doing these videos is that everything is recorded, so hey Foss, thanks for picking up on the IB today. Appreciate that, bud. I was talking about looking at a nice trade there, which was, but it was just a previous high. See what the ES just did? Went right to that area, that 6,800 area. It's just a very simple auction process right there, and play with them. But that would have been a tough trade just because of how big the volume that was sitting here. So they kept pecking at it. And now they've actually diminished this very little. There's still some volume sitting right here, but very, very little compared to what they did. So they're done with this area for as of right now. But I was looking at like the 12 footprint, and you know, this would have been tough because look at how long we were kind of sitting down here. We swept it, kind of came right back in here. Granted, this is a great footprint candle. This does get you your 4 points. I get it. So maybe I'm talking shit. Maybe that could have been a decent trade there. Don't think the NQ yet is pecked here yet. There's a nice big break structure there. Let's see what this looks like here. Not the greatest risk to reward here, guys. So that's the only thing here. Only 7 points here, 8 points down. So I mean, almost a 1-to-1, but not exactly. So Jonathan, I kind of had to look that up too, just to, because I think that there's a slight difference between Legacy and the new accounts that Apex have, but based on what I'm reading, it is it's allowed but monitored. So you can scale into positions, but this is monitored under general consistency rules. So risk management still needs to must avoid a 30% negative P&L in a single day, meaning DCA cannot be used to hold a losing trade through a massive drawdown. Okay, so that would explain why I didn't get flagged for that yesterday, because I was like 3 points of in the negative, and it really was because I wasn't in front of the chart. I mean, it was when that confirmation candle hit while I was already in the trade, and I already had the plan. I already talked about the plan about adding another position. When that flip happened, it was in the green, so that's where I would have added. Now, granted, I got another 6 points out of that trade because of that, which was great. But yeah, so that kind of explains that. Well, this unbalanced volume area that I mapped out proved pretty line in the sand type of business right here. Yeah, it sure is. And I know they want to get to this liquidity sitting right here. I know that's what the market really wants to get to. Nice little M right here. Now, you guys can limit order into this trade if you want. I am going to switch to a 30 footprint here. My only reason, this is probably, I can't really determine if it's a B plus or an A minus setup, but there is a small area here of unbalanced volume kind of sitting below. I just don't have a really great TP. You know, I like this TP to be a little bit higher to increase my risk here a little bit, but I just got to go with what I see in the market. This is unbalanced and this is unbalanced, so this just makes perfect sense to get just a really quick kind of zigzag trade here, and knock TP off pretty easy. Yeah, nothing to do up here because it's all been balanced out really well. We need to see a breakout here and then let the market reclaim some new volume, and then we'll kind of take a look and see what kind of clues are left behind. So you see that? It's a prime example of what I don't like to see. So this scalp for me right now is not in play. We did get a nice reaction there, about a point and a half above, a point and a half above our entry. And you saw the move, the strong move to the upside right there. That was the area of unbalanced volume that I was seeing. I was just obviously off there by about a point and a half. So this to me could still work out, but I learned my lesson yesterday that this is an area that I'm just not very confident in right now. And it, again, when I'm not in it, might work out a little bit better, but we'll see. Let's go to the 30. Let's see if this gives you a flip. If it gives you a flip, you probably got a great chance there of getting TPs, but we'll see. And then this was the area, a little lower than this was the area that I had seen where we could get a possible little sweep. We still haven't tapped into the 51s yet. I mean, sellers are giving it everything they got. Buyers are definitely defending here. So this was a very good area of unbalanced volume, but again, that little sweep right there. All right, now you would have got knocked out right there. Good. Again, good non-trade for me. Just got to stick to my rules. I see that move right there, and that is the classic sweep of the volume that I'm looking for. You saw the reaction. The reaction was over 10 points. And now let's see if they do what I thought could be a big possibility here. Let's see. All right, so now if we break to the downside, then that means that we've definitely swept that. But that right there was a great sweep of the liquidity that I was seeing, the unbalanced volume area. So we'll see here now, I guess, who's stronger. Hopefully you guys heeded my my caution there. I'm watching this footprint here very closely. If this footprint here closes with positive delta, I'm going to have to reevaluate this trade depending on where the sellers here are showing strength at. don't think they're going to be able to flip that. I'm just going to go back to the 1 minute here. I do find the candlesticks are a little bit easier for me to see sweeps. Okay, not surprising you see a reaction at TP. Now, let's see a nice little continued move here. Okay, I might have to cancel this order as well. Motherfucker, man. That's 2 points above the entry. Don't understand what the hell did I miss here. That was frustrating. See if they get through here or not. Not going to take the scalp anymore just because of the sweep. Right here. I landed about 2 points above my entry. A good amount of volume sitting right there too that they probably going to want to balance out. We might get the reaction from here. Big possibility. But not something I'm willing to risk some capital on right now. I feel like I got lucky 130 today. Tiger trades, yeah. So, like, let's just take this one here as an example. So as this is a, let's see what kind of pointage. This is about 12 point scalp here. What I'll do is I'll leave a resting limit order here with my predetermined TP and predetermined stop loss. And what I'm waiting for is obviously for price action to come and hit my my limit, go to my TP before it goes to my stop loss. That's the basic analogy. But what I am looking out for, which is happens in the market sometimes. Today, I think it's happened to me twice, where the market comes down and misses my entry by a tick to 2 points and reverses up. My general idea of where the market was going to turn based on the unbalanced volume was correct. So my thesis was right. I just missed my entry by a point or two. So in this scenario, I invalidate either my signal, or in this scenario, I invalidate my scalping setup right here, based on this sweep right here, because it did what I thought it was going to do. I just hoped that it would have pushed down 2 more points, and then did this rip to the upside. I say rip, but that was probably 20 points up to right here. And I just keep it up here just as a reference. So as price action comes back down, I do want to see how it reacts, because everything is intel. Everything is good in intel. I do know that there's a good amount of volume sitting right here in this green box, which is pretty much like at the 205s, 204s. So again, I want to see if we tap into that, if this was the unbalanced volume that I saw prior to on the chart, if this is what they want to touch into and go. But the probability of that now has lessened now that we did this sweep here, and you saw how well it reacted to there. Just like how this band, I had a band up here that, there was no sweep here. We came right into it. We tapped down. We came very strong to the downside. Now, the only reason why I couldn't take a short here is because we still had a lot of strength from buyers over here. So just want to kind of take trades in the right direction as much as I possibly can. So hopefully that helps explain that. You got it. So Lucid just sent out a new promo. Oh, and by the way, I am going to be giving away Lucid evals on Monday and Wednesday of next week. Tomorrow is going to be my Wednesday Cash Profit Wednesdays. I've been running it the last 2 weeks on Fridays. Tomorrow it's going to be on a Wednesday. Notoriously my strongest day trading, so that'll be great. And so 5% of my session profits will be given away tomorrow on stream. So all I got to do is look for the keyword in the morning and pop it into the chat, and you'll be entered in to win. Again, whatever I make, whatever you see on the session P&L for the day, if it's 3,000, 1,500, $500, it's 5% of that. And so far we've had 3 winners, so they've been making some money. And then on next Monday and next Wednesday, I'll be giving away some Lucid evals. I've got a 25K and a 50K to give out. I gotta use the washroom. It's funny, my wife's yesterday told me, she's like, oh man, it would have been nice for you to have made that $3,500 P&L on Friday. And I told her, yeah, I mean, if I make $3,500 in my cash accounts, I'm making about 600. So if I'm giving away $170 or $160, you know, it's, if you were just trading evals and you were giving away your profits from your not evals, but if your funded accounts, if you were just, because it's not real money yet, it's not money that's in your bank account. But when you got 2 cash accounts attached to every single trade, you could do things like that, which I like. And I'm like, well, now you're kind of you're lessening the $1,200 win that I had last Friday. I mean, I worked my ass off of that for that trade. I think we were down $1,800, and I had about 5 minutes left in the session before the cutoff at 10:30, and I caught a nice like 51-point winner on the NQ short, and got the P&L to like 1,200. So that came out to about $61. I do gotta add, I actually never really had heard of Cash App. I guess a lot of people will use Cash App too. So I have Chase, I'm sorry, I have QuickPay, Zelle, and Venmo, and PayPal. So I've actually paid with all 3 of those. But I think Cash App a lot of people use. So let's see if I could register my business with Cash App. So my stream starts every morning at 8:30 a.m. So at 8:30 you'll know what the keyword is, and you just type in the keyword into the chat and you're entered in to win. And then I'll let you know at what time the drawing's at. So just got to be there at the drawing, because there's a 2-minute timer. And whatever I tell you to type in, whatever I tell you to type in, it'll be in there as well. You know, either thank you or whatever. All right, I'm going to have to go use the washroom really quick. Don't go anywhere. And while you're waiting for me to come back, I'd appreciate a like on the stream. All right, I'm back. For those of you that like the stream, I appreciate it. So I got a question here from Tiger Trades. Do you use any tool for journaling your trades? Yeah, actually, it's kind of a long answer, but so there was the tap into the inch. No, I think it missed entry there. Pretty damn close. What was I talking about? Journaling. It's kind of a long answer, but so I've been journaling with Tradezilla for a good amount of time. I still have an active subscription with them, which I might be canceling. And the reason for that is with NinjaTrader, you're only allowed to have 2 instances of NinjaTrader open at a time. And it doesn't discern from desktop to web version, or if you have anything that's connected to those accounts at any time. So that would have hit TPs there. So again, a good example of, you know, not taking the trade and the trade working out really well. The issue was, I love Tradezilla for the fact that it automates your trade. So you take a trade in NinjaTrader, and within minutes to seconds, it's updated on the dashboard with your exact trade, your entry. You could put in all of your journaling in it. I love it. It's fantastic. It's actually great. The issue I was having is that I run my Ninja upstairs on my desktop and downstairs. So upstairs I run my strategies, my morning strategies in oil, gold, and in the 15-minute raw reversal, not currently in gold. And the issue I was having with Tradezilla is that when I had this computer on downstairs and it's also on, those are my 2 instances of Ninja that I'm allowed to. So every time that I would go into Tradezilla, it would always have a syncing error. And then finally, when it's synced, it would like double my trades. It would double. So I'd have to constantly go in, delete the double. I have 2 cash accounts that are attached to there. So there'd actually be, if I took 2 trades, it would look like 4 trades. And, you know, if you're up, you're up. If you're down, you're down. Bigger than what you were. So it wasn't accurate. So then I switched over. I created a spreadsheet with the help of Grok to track all of my funded accounts, all my PAs, my Tradeifys, my Lucid accounts. And it's a pretty in-depth spreadsheet. So I had Grok help me with that. It's about, I don't know, it's got about 13 tabs in there. So it gives me a dashboard. It gives me where all of the accounts are at, how close they are from payouts, separates them into the groups, how I stagger my groups to trade them. And then within that, I added another tab for my journaling. So in my journal, when I take a trade, I can go in there and you know, type in the actual, what the result of the trade was. Was I taking it off of a scalping zone, a reaction band, an IB trade? All of that was kind of put in there for me. So that's the way that I currently journal my trades on a P&L basis. And then most importantly, I use just a handwritten journal that's always next to me. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but like you can see, you know, all of my, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Probably can't. You can see all of my notes. I highlight what was good, what was bad. And these are more just like my psychology journal. So we'll go into today's March 17th. I said to be patient with contract rollover. Okay, I don't normally talk about things like that, but today I wanted to make a point to put in my journal that with the contract rollover to stay patient. To concentrate more on my scalps for the day. Hit a golf ball anytime I have a loss. Okay, and to focus in on every click. So that's a common theme for me, is to focus on every click, to hit the golf ball on every loss. Those two are always going to be those are pretty much in every single page that I have. And you know, like on another day I have don't snooze out. I felt like on March 5th, felt like I was tired. I was kind of zoning out while trading. I think it was kind of a boring day. It was kind of sideways chop and it kind of zoned out there. So, you know, I just made sure that the next day I focused in on those things. So this journal is not P&L based. It's not trade based. It's more on how I'm feeling and how I'm looking at the markets that day. So this is a good example right here of a winning trade where we, you know, even though we had the sweep here, we still would have got that. We still would have got those 13 points there. So a little unfortunate, I know. Yeah, Tiger, I would say so too. I'm just a big fan of data. So like the further out that you can get with data in an actual spreadsheet, that'll also help you too with your actual strategy, not necessarily with you as a trader, because of the fact that you can, you know, with AI and with the, you know, with Excel or Google Sheets, whatever you use, you can really dissect your strategies really well. So what I track on my trade tracker, which goes into depth, is time of day. So I've got them slotted out into 30 minutes. So I've got pre-session, I've got 8 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9, 9 to 9:30, all the way up until 3 o'clock. And then I've got another session for post-session. So I track the time that I take the trade, put that in. Obviously the instrument, what my strategy was that I was using. Was it an IB low play, which is maybe coming into play if you're here for today? Was it an IB strategy? Was it a, you know, an unbalanced volume area? Was it one of my signals? And then the more data you build out, you can also then start to kind of micro. Let's see if we get a flip here or not. We get a green, no, we don't get one there yet. Shit, what is the 120 telling me here? Nothing yet, did not get the flip there that I was looking for. And that came quick, huh? All right, I'm gonna have to go footprint mode here, just because What I'm looking at is, if we look at the 120, we've got a lot of positive delta in here, which is great to buoy this market right here. But if we get this as a red footprint candle, that's a flip to the downside right here, which would be very close. It would probably pass my entry. So we'll see here how this closes out here, and see if I go back to limit order or not. This could actually turn out to be a bigger play here. Maybe if we get one little sweep. I don't know if we're going to get back down here or not. We should actually. That doesn't make much sense there. We did sweep that big one. That's an indicator. It's called labeled horizontal lines. Just Google it, and it's on. I think it's on the ecosystem, on the NinjaTrader ecosystem, or it might be on that Nexius site that I am. I think you pay like $4 or $5 for the lifetime license of it. It's pretty cheap, and there's probably like 800 indicators for NinjaTrader. I use it all the time. What I have found is that there is a few versions of the horizontal line numbering. There's one that you want to avoid, because what I've found with it is it'll leave you a lot of ghost lines where the label will show up, but then you lose your line, and then you can never delete that line again unless you right click and then click on drawing tools and then remove all drawing objects, and then all the work you've done is pretty much for nothing. Actually kind of like a long here. I think if this candle here closes green with negative footprints, I'm going to take a long and just target 30 points here, which is a little bit bigger than what I was anticipating for this morning. But the setup looks ripe. Oh, nope. Nope. That flipped already. I'm not interested in that yet. Again, kind of classic reversal pattern here. You just see delta increasing, increasing, increasing. They finally hit, well, they hit the IB. And then you had a pretty strong delta there. Yeah, just getting the indicator tiger trades is a lot more simpler. And then I've got defaults already set up, so like my colors that I like already come up as a default, and it's global too. So if I put it on a different chart, it'll show up on this chart, or wherever you have it as a labeled where that indicator is on, it'll automatically paint these for you. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave you guys here with a few things. There is a very, very nice, as you can see here on the volume footprint, there's a very nice piece of unbalanced volume. Okay, larger trade for sure. Sitting at the 24,861 to the 24,812. In this scenario, I would switch down to your 120 range, and if you get any confirmation in this box, it's a great area here to take a long for at least a good 30 points. So just take that for what it's worth. I'll leave you guys with this one right now. And, you know, I'm going to say I stayed patient today. I said that I wasn't going to try to force anything, and I didn't. I got obviously I got lucky on the first trade. You know, we swept the stop losses there, and my stop loss didn't get triggered on my funded account, so I got to go back and look at the charts and see probably the micros didn't get tagged there or not, or maybe just price action swept so quickly that they didn't fill. So my P&L's up 562 today. Lucky. I mean, I could talk about all the amount of times where I've been unlucky. I just feel that the market always has a way of balancing things out in life and in trading in general. So I'm gonna probably take it easy here today, just kind of keep mapping out these areas of unbalanced volume. We really haven't flipped anything yet to the red, even on this move to the downside. So all this is still green. So that's something to really think about, where, you know, that's the second point. Granted, you know, if I would have got into this trade here for the long, my 30-point target would have gotten hit. I wish that this was it this candle? Oh, actually, no, it was this candle that I would have gotten into. So I wouldn't have hit my 30-point target just yet. But if this would have been a delta flip here, I definitely would have taken a long here for 30 points for sure. It was just a very good V reversal type of pattern here on the footprint chart, on the larger one. So with that being said, stay patient out there, guys. If you're in the green, try to stay in the green. Today is a great day if you can somehow manage to be in the green. The next couple days are going to be a little tricky, so stay patient out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Cash Profit Wednesdays. All right, take care, and like the stream if you haven't. I appreciate it.